Least common denominator. When do you need it? Do you need it? Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Sarah. I've been a STEM and math and science teacher for 20 years, and I'm here to make math engaging and fun. Follow me for more math tips and tricks. You're never too old to learn how to do math. It's good to know, it's sure, because I'm sure there's some times that you really need it, but I mean, there's so many other ways to go about, like, the most common time when you're using the least common denominator is with, like, adding and subtracting fractions. And what it really is useful for is if you find the least common denominator between the two denominators, you won't necessarily have to simplify, but 9 times out of 10, the least common denominator is just the two denominators multiplied together. So why not just do that for everything? So when I'm looking at fractions, if I have something like 3/5 plus 7/10, the first thing that I'm gonna look at is, oh, well, 5 times 2 is 10. So what I could do is I can just multiply these both by 2. So then what I'm looking at is 6 over 10 plus 7 over 10, which gives me 13 over 10. So first thing, looking for, like, does this denominator, is it a factor of this denominator? That's sort of the most straightforward one. If you don't see that, then just do crisscross applesauce. Let me show you crisscross applesauce. So if we've got something like 7/9 minus 3/4. 4 and 9, I can't change 4 into 9. I can't change 9 into 4 in an easy way, right? In a nice, friendly way. 4 is not a factor of 9. So what I do is crisscross applesauce. So crisscross applesauce is just a nice, easy, simple way of adding or subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. I go criss, and that gives me 27. I go cross, and that gives me 28. Put in the minus sign, 28 minus 27 over applesauce, which is 36. So this is 1 over 36. So to find the least common denominator, what you would do is you would list out, if I had 9, I would do 9 times 1 is 9, 9 times 2 is 18, 9 times 3 is 27, 9 times 4 is 36. I mean, and then you can stop because you know that it's, the other one is 4, but you would list out 4. So you go 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. You're just going to list all of the multiples until you get to one that shows up on both of them. And you can see that it's 36. That is the least common multiple that those two numbers have. So again, most of the time, especially when you're looking at like upper elementary kind of level and middle school level math, problems like this, most of the time, the least common denominator is going to be the two numbers multiplied together. Sometimes you may get something a little bit different. I mean, like 4 and 6, let's say these are 3/4 and I had 5, 6. So 6 and 4, I can crisscross applesauce this. And then I have 24 as the denominator. Or I can look at the multiples of 6. 6, 12, 18, 24. And I'm just gonna stop there because 6 times 4 is 24. And then 4 and 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So here you can see that there is 24 and 24. That's just 6 times 4 is 24. There is a lesser multiple, which is 12, which, yeah, go for it. You can use 12. It's not wrong, but you have to think about all of those multiplies and see which ones are the easiest. Some of them just sort of stick in your brain, but if they don't stick in your brain, the way to find a common denominator that applies to every single fraction problem is crisscross applesauce. Multiply them together, done. You don't have to do all of this. Now you have to simplify afterwards, which is fine, right? But if you use 12, you won't necessarily have to simplify. If you use 24, you are definitely gonna have to simplify it, but you're good at that. You can simplify. If we use 12 for this, okay, let's do least common denominator, right? 5, 6 minus 3/4. So the least common denominator was 12. 5 over 6 equals what over 12? So this is times 2, this is times 2. So we have 10 over 12. And then 3/4 is what over 12? So that's times 3, that's times 3. So we have 9. So what this is actually is 10/12 minus 9/12 gives me 1/12. So that's using lowest common denominator. If you're going to use CCA, not CCR, crisscross applesauce. So I've got 5, 6 minus 3/4. So I'm going to go criss, which is 20, cross, which is 18. And I'm using the minus because it's a subtraction problem, over applesauce, which is 24. That gives me 2 over 24, which simplifies down to 1/12. Yeah, if you really don't want to simplify, if you really want to avoid simplifying, you use least common denominator. But I like, here's the pattern. Crisscross applesauce works on every single fraction no matter what. That's mathed up.